life will be spared because you trusted in the Lord. I don't think many folks would argue that if we continue on the path we're going, the judgment of God is sure to follow. But if you're walking with him, you get delivered in that day, don't you? And when the judgment of God comes, the church is taken from it. I like the fact that in verse 18, the Lord says nothing about how heroic Ebed-Melech was, although it was obviously a very heroic move on his part, very dangerous move. He doesn't say anything about how compassionate he was, or how resourceful he showed himself in tying old rags and clothes together and being able to pull a guy out of a deep hole that way. What he said was, you trusted in the Lord. And really, that's what God's looking for in your life and mine. We point to behavior. God points to the heart. You trust in me. If your trust is in the Lord, behavior will follow. There's really no way to separate the two. You can't even cover the true intention of your heart with behavior, because eventually it just shows through. Out of the abundance of the mouth, the heart speaks. He will deliver you in that day. He trusted in the Lord. That's what God honors. That's what God's looking for. It's that simple, isn't it? I don't know if you remember in the psalm that we read this morning in Psalm 91, but the last 3 verses change pronouns. And though the psalmist writes for 13 verses about how he made the Lord his hiding place and how he's going to hide under the shadow of the Lord's wings, and his truth is going to be his buckler, but the last 3 verses, there's a stop and then there's a change of tone, and God answers the psalmist. It is written in the first person. And the Lord says there in verse 14, because he has set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high because he has known my name. He'll call on me and I'll answer him. And I'll be with him in trouble, and I'll deliver him, and I'll honor him, and with long life I'll satisfy him. I'll show him my salvation. God's answer to the man who hides himself in the Lord. In the days in which we live, we have to decide who we're going to trust and with whom we're going to stand. And if you look at the picture here that's so clearly laid out, it looked like, for the moment, the wrong choice would be to stand next to a jailed prophet on, death row. When the people were against him and the king was not for him, and the future for him was very bleak. He didn't seem to choose the winning team. That should have been the princes and the crowds and the power and the king and his ability to make choices that affected people's lives. But the servant of the king lives up to his name, and he chooses to honor the Lord. And verse 18 says, God honored his choice. You're going to have to decide which king you're going to serve. Zedekiah, whose days are numbered, or the Lord, who has just begun his work. Not going to be easy. Not going to get a lot of support. Not going to get a lot of applause for doing the right thing. May leave you just wondering, oh man, what did I do now? But know this, you put God first. And one day you're going to hear, because he has set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high because he has known my name. He will call, I will answer. I'll be with him in trouble. I'll deliver him. I'll honor him. With long life, I'll satisfy him. I'll show him my salvation. I don't think I want to hear anything else.